I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Anytime I go into a review, whether it's for a drum pad, sticks, cymbals, whatever it may be, I try to go in as blind as possible. But the reason I do this is because I try to give genuine, honest reviews on products that I'm seeing for the first time so that you guys understand what you may be going into when you review some product like this. Whether it's for products from Beetle Percussion or a pair of marching sticks from Innovative, Vic Firth, Sawyers, whoever it may be. I'm being honest 100% all the time. Now, in some of my older reviews, I may have hyped up some of my reactions, and that was because I was still, young and inexperienced at all of this. But I honestly feel like I've gotten better at this and a little bit more honest. So not too long ago, I did another review on a couple products I got from Beetle Percussion. Shortly after I posted those reviews, I got a message from Carlos over at the Left Hand Path drum book. And he asked me if I could do a review on his book series, The Left Hand Path. It's not just one book. It's a whole army of them. Ugh. So in terms of how these books came about, it all stems back to around, I'd say about 2015, 2016, if my Instagram search history serves me well. Carlos had came out with the original Left Hand Path drum book. This book is full of very, very challenging musical etudes, some warm-ups, and some solos. And around the time that it came out, it had gained a little bit of popularity. It started seeing some other Instagram drummers posting a couple of these licks after they had purchased his book, or any free licks that he had posted on his Instagram. So that's when he came out with the first book, The Left Hand Path. And then shortly after, he came out with volume number 2. Now, in no way, shape, or form do these books follow any structure in terms of, this is the style that, I see where he's coming from. Like an artist posts an album, that artist based off of, this flows from the previous album. These books are very unique in terms of how they go. Now, Carlos's writing over time has developed its own style. I know Carlos's writing just by hearing it because I know how he writes. One, because I've got all of his books. And two, I've been following him since around 2018, 2019. Actually, the first 2 books I bought were actually Volume 3 and Volume 4. Now, the cool thing about these books, as opposed to other licks that you've seen on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it may be, these ones feel more musical. They're not meant to be extreme flashy licks that include the most intense hybrid rudiments, backstickings, and all of that crazy junk. The licks in these books actually have a flow to them if you sit down and truly read them. Now, Carlos doesn't just have books that have a bunch of licks in them. He also has a book solely for developing your rudimental chops in classical rudimental style. So this book, and actually entitled Rudimental, a collection of etudes that focus on the 40 PAS international drum rudiments. How many times have you ever heard your instructor say, learn your rudiments?
Keep your gravestone down!
Well, when you take a look at the PAS chart, yeah, I can learn to play those. But how do you develop those in a musical context besides your show music, your I&E solo, your indoor music? So Carlos took that into perspective and actually wrote music that focuses around learning these rudiments. I really need to work on my flams. These books are even making me think sometimes. But in all honesty, you play through these thinking, I can learn this lick. And then all of a sudden you're like, I need to really work on that rudiment. But Carlos does it in such a great way that you're learning the rudiment while you're learning a lick. And for younger drummers, that's what y'all like to do. I studied music education, and I've had to learn old school rudiments the old school way. But now there's a way for younger drummers who, probably don't go into music as a profession in college. Now they can learn them. Are you someone who's just now getting into rudimental drumming and don't know exactly where to start? He has a book for that. Literally starting from just quarter notes, quarter rest, sticking, and learning how to put it all together. There are even etudes to help people and students learn and feel like they're actually learning music as they go, because that is what they are doing. Do you want some variations on some classic drumline warm-ups? Variations. Do you want some just good old drumline warm-ups? A whole book of them. Well, let me ask you this. Are you ever just drumming and want something to drum along to, but not make it feel intense or something that you really have to put extreme thought into, something you can just jam along to? He's got 2 of them. Pathways is 2 books in 1. Oh, also, Carlos makes some really awesome music that's something to just chill to. He also has a book that I snagged not too long ago called The Path to Lifelong Drumming. This one just has some simple jam etudes that allow you just to get loose and have fun and relax. Do you struggle learning your hybrid rudiments? One of his newest books, Hybrid 101. Carlos also has a book called The Snare Drum Spectrum. Now, what's really cool about this one, this are full-blown snare drum solos. Now, first, it has a couple lessons in it that really break down a lot of the rudiments that you're going to be seeing in these solos. Now, how many other books do that when it comes to learning the solo? Think about beginning band music, where sometimes when you get the score or the parts, it shows you the scale, what note ranges you're going to have. This book teaches you the rudiments and different styles you're going to be learning as you perform these etudes. Have you ever watched any of his videos, played any of his licks, and realized, oh my gosh, that is cooking, that is fast? Slow motion. This one I love because my old man hands, I'm only 27, are getting to me, and I like to play things slow. Are you an advanced snare player looking for something really challenging? This one is tough. I think I've only been able to play one thing out of this, and it was like the free spree at the end. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos, because I know he's going to be watching this video, but I think when you order this book, you get a lick that's not custom written, but written specifically for your copy. I believe this is mine, so I could be wrong. Carlos, correct me, please. Hey, drum set players, he didn't forget you either. And marching people, you can use this book too, because we need to work on our independence. Okay? So let me give you some information about Carlos. Carlos is a percussion educator based out of Texas. Past couple seasons, he's worked with the Genesis Drum and Bugle Corps, and in my opinion, has elevated the Genesis drumline into a form of internet stardom we haven't seen in quite a while. You know, you got your key corps, you always see videos and stuff online every summer, the Blue Devils, the Blue Coats, Crown, the Cadets, all of that. But because of what Carlos has done in terms of social media influence, he's elevated the groups he's worked with to a level that a lot of people haven't seen in a while. Carlos is also an artist with Salyers Percussion. I have a pair of his sticks right here. These are not his signature sticks. These are actually the MAS3s with his company logo written right there. A little worn out because I actually love these sticks to death. They feel great in the hands. They're really comfortable, and it's what he uses a lot. And if you've been on my channel before, you've been on Instagram, whatever, you know that Carlos also has his own signature pad through Beetle Percussion. This pad's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite pads to play with, especially with his sticks. So let's go over a couple of the books again that you can get. Now, I own every single one of Carlos's books, and I'm going to continue to support him because I love his writing, I love his style, and I just love when he comes out with new material all the time. So let's go over the books that I have. You have Independent Thought, Slow Motion, Variations, The Snare Drum Spectrum, Hybrid 101, Drumline, A Beginner's Guide to Rudimental Drumming, A Guide to the Left-Hand Path. This book actually teaches you how to approach Carlos's writing, his style, and all of his licks. This book, key in this series. A Book of Sprees, Summer 16, Pathways, Path to Lifelong Drumming, Rudimental, and these are the key books within the series, the ones that essentially started it all. The Left-Hand Path, The Right-Hand Path, it's the first book, but for tenor players, he's thinking of y'all. Volume number 2, Volume number 3, number 4, which was the first book I purchased, and Volume number 5. So did I do this review for fame, to get recognition? No. I did this because, 1, I was asked to, and 2, of course I'm going to review a product that is great value to the online drumming community, my students, and anyone that's looking for new material in the drumming world that has possibly gone through a lot of the traditional stuff and is seeking something new and fresh. And I know deep down Carlos did not write these to replace all of those older rudimental study books that we know and love, but rather just to introduce something new and something fresh. That way we don't have to just keep going back to the same stuff every single time. He's an educator, just like me. And I think that's what really made a connection between his writing, his style, and what I'm trying to teach and what I love to play. I'm an educator. I'm always looking for something to teach to my students, for me to learn myself, and also, I may be 27, but, I've gone through a lot of the experiences in terms of drumming and, orchestral percussion, marimba playing, all of that. My hands aren't what they used to be. So in case you guys want to know where you can find all of this glorious stuff, first, go check out his Instagram, The Left-Hand Path Drum Book. You can also check out his personal page, where he posts a lot of his music, the way he writes his music, and how he writes a lot of these licks. You can get every single one of these books at the lefthandpathdrumbook.com. So guys, that's been my review on the Left-Hand Path Drum Book series. Go check him out. 100% worth it. So guys, make sure you go to his website, his Instagrams, check him out. Give some of his stuff a try. He has free licks he posts on his Instagram all the time, and a lot of those licks sometimes end up in his book. Carlos, if you're watching this video, you make amazing content, amazing music, amazing drum warm-ups, etudes, solos. You're changing the game, man. Please keep it up. Until next time, guys, I'm Austin Red. See you later.